Hey, thank you for taking the time to join us right here on Polk Place. I'm Brian Lacey, and joining me in studio, a man that needs no introduction, because if you've read the Ledger, he's got I'm going to say over 35-year career as a writer with the Ledger. It's Tom Palmer. Tom, thanks for coming to the show, joining us.
Well, happy to be here.
Yeah, well, I want to talk with you a little bit about Polk Forever. What exactly is Polk Forever?
Okay, what Polk Forever is a political action committee that we're trying to get approval to the voters on the November 8th ballot for a referendum to restart funding for the Environmental Lands Program. This would be to buy land outright or to buy conservation easements from willing sellers. And how it would be financed would be on a 0.2 mil property tax for 20 years. And that would raise about $10.6 million a year initially. It cost the average homeowner about $30, and even less if you got homestead exemption. And what we're trying to do is, we got 4 areas we're targeting. We're targeting the Green Swamp area, critical state concern, which is a hub for a series of statewide wildlife corridors. It's the top of the Florida aquifer. It's the headwaters of 4 rivers. We're also targeting the Peace River because it's an important wildlife corridor between Polk County and the coast. We're focusing on Lake Wells Ridge, which is basically a series of ancient prehistoric desert islands that has plants and animals found nowhere else on the planet. And the Upper Kissimmee Basin, which is the headwaters of the Everglades, and really important for this part of the state for wildlife, for water. It's just because water and wildlife kind of go together.
We've heard a few of the things that they're looking at doing. Let's talk a little bit about capital projects covered.
Yeah, I mean, for instance, we've got 11,000 acres at Crooked Lake West out south of Lake Wales, and they can't open that to the public because the Department of Transportation will not issue a driveway permit until the county builds a turn lane on 27, and that's a 6-figure, that thing. And also, if we do find land for another nature center out on the east side of the county, that'll be expensive. And we got some minor things. There's an old homestead on one of the properties that eventually the houses are going to fall down. They got asbestos shingles, so they got to deal with that. So there's some things, plus just the day-to-day, fixing the fences, keeping the paths mowed, controlling exotic vegetation, that kind of thing.
Tom, what I need you to do is kind of state the obvious. As we grow here in Polk County, why is it important for us to invest in these lands and still keep kind of some of that original heritage of Polk County?
Well, Polk's population, is going to be approaching 1 million in just a couple decades. So you got to buy the land when it's available. There's also, I was just reading a study where they looked at the amount of conservation land on average in Florida is 0.4 of an acre per person. And it's not keeping up with population growth. When I ran some numbers, in Polk County it's 0.2 of an acre per capita. So we're even behind the state average. So there's plenty of room to improve it.
Now, we've discussed a little bit about what the referendum means. We've talked about the side of it that gives us this land for future generations. Let's talk opposition. What opposition is there?
We haven't encountered no opposition. In the 1994 referendum, there was opposition from people that were skeptical that the county ought to be in the land buying business, and they're worried about the management costs. But I think a lot of those people have been won over by the fact that the program as it was run, they bought good land, they managed it effectively, kept the overhead low. So basically they did what they told the taxpayers they were going to do, and we want to do that again.
One of the things that we see, well, that we really don't see, but we see when we get out on these lands that the county provides is the wildlife, and you are a huge fan of the wildlife. Talk about some of the things that inspire the folks to get out of their house and experience some of these wonderful things that Polk County has to offer.
Well, the green spaces are really important for getting exercise, for mental health, just to kind of get away from the daily grind. And it also offers a lot of educational opportunities. I mean, we have such a variety of of things to see out here. There's like 300 species of birds that either nest or migrate through Polk County. More than 100 species of butterflies, some of them quite beautiful. And I do a lot of blacklighting at night and for looking for moths. And so far, we got 731 verified species of moths in this county, and some of them are really striking, and some of them aren't. And plus, we've got mammals, everything from bears and panthers to bats to otters. We got turtles. We got some cool snakes, lizards. I mean, and probably more than 1,000 species of plants of various kinds. A lot of really lovely wildflowers, including some of the endangered ones out on Lake Wells Ridge, and also some up in the swampy areas too.
In a 35-plus year career with the Ledger, how did you get involved with the outdoors, with Florida's outdoors?
Well, it's funny. I mean, I've lived in Florida all my life, and I was always interested. But what really got me, I was at Mock Tower one day and ran into some people who are bird watching, and they invited me to join them, and then kind of grew from there. This is back in the late 70s. And the more you get into it, the more you learn. I mean, at first I thought I knew a lot, and then I got into it and thought, gosh, I don't know very much at all. And so I educated myself. And as a writer, if you don't understand something, you can't communicate it well to the public. And so that was one of my, in the 20 years I had a column in the Ledger, I tried to explain things, explain nature, everything from birds to insects to what good is pollen, just all kinds of things. Nature is just amazing.
With your background, what do you want the voters to know about Polk Forever?
Well, it's really important for the heritage. Polk used to be, really rural, and now not so much. But we just want to preserve what we can for heritage. And we also like to expand education. One of the things we're thinking about, if the voters approve it, is trying to find land for another Circle B type facility over in the east part of the county, because right now the students from Davenport have a long bus ride to take classes at Circle B. This might make it easier for them and their parents.
I want to talk a little bit about the voting aspect. Being informed is the most important thing that you can do when you go to the polls. How can folks find out more information, and what do you want them to research when they make a decision on this in November?
Okay, well, we have a website, polkforever.com, and we've got a brochure in English and in Spanish that you can download on there, plus a lot of information, background on these special places. And we're also looking for speaking engagements. We've spoken with a number of groups, but we could be happy to speak to others if they'd like to invite us. They can contact us via the website also. And also, it was a shameless plug, but we are a PAC, and we are accepting campaign contributions.
And how can folks contribute?
They can also go through the website to do that.
Well, we got about 30 seconds left, Tom. What I want you to do is inspire those folks to get out and vote on November 4th and support this.
Well, just think of it as the future. Think about it now. I mean, I always think of that Moody Blues album, your children's children's children. Think ahead, because polk will be around. We just want to know what kind of polk it's going to be.
Well, Tom, I want to thank you for coming in and sharing the information with us. And anytime you want to come in and talk about the lands of Polk County, feel free. The chair is yours, all right?
Well, thank you very much.
Polk Forever is a group of conservation-minded volunteers working to protect Polk's remaining wildlands. Now, on November 8th, the Environmental Lands Referendum will be on the ballot. Its objective is to acquire, preserve, protect, manage, or restore water resources, environmental lands, and important fish and wildlife habitat. Now, if you need more information on the initiative, look them up on the web at polkforever.com.